Charity begins at home is a statement that you would have heard in conversations, especially around international development, and it actually has a couple of meanings. The first meaning, which I believe is the origin of the phrase, actually talks about charity beginning in the home, the literal home, where we actually teach our children about charity, about generosity, about giving back, and they learn that in the home and take it with them throughout the rest of their lives. So that is the origin, but we forget about that, so let's just put that aside for a moment. The other way that we use it is we talk about we must look after our own first. So charity begins at home in Australia. We look after people in Australia. Now, I've been working in international aid and development for 15 years now. And so I hear this conversation, and I don't necessarily disagree with that particular phrase in that way that we understand it. I do care deeply about people in Australia who are homeless, who are sick, who are elderly, who are disabled. Surely we can look after them. I'm not a heartless person, but it doesn't necessarily have to stop there. We can actually do two things at once. We forget just how good we have it here in Australia. I was catching up with a guy a few months ago, and he had immigrated to Australia about 10 years previous. He went home recently, back to his home country, hadn't been there for a while, and it didn't take him too long for him to shift his perspective of the world. All of a sudden, he kept looking over his shoulder to make sure there was no one behind him or following him. He felt unsafe. He forgot what that felt like. And we forget, or perhaps we don't have the perspective of what we actually realise in our lives in Australia. It is a very safe country. It's a very wealthy country. We have some really good things. Not perfect, has some problems, bad things still happen, but it is a good place to live. And so let's take that on as a responsibility to actually, yes, do charity at home, but let's not stop there. Let's do charity everywhere. Take it out of our home and actually impact the rest of the world positively.